So I guess every scientific problem that we have ever had are solved now because we have what some would call our most prominent scientists correcting the genders of fictional characters? Can we please get some better scientists? Or at least ones that value their integrity enough to not profess idiocy for dollars and clicks? If I'm not mistaken, that's called grifting. Neil deGrasse Tyson, revered scientist, astrophysicist, planetary scientist, author, and science communicator, whatever that is. Now, here's a man who studied at Harvard, Princeton, and Columbia. He has even had his own TV show for a while, supposedly taking over for the late, great Carl Sagan. Google him if you don't know who he is. I never watched it because I wasn't watching television at the time, but I always heard about him, which tells me they hyped him and made him very famous in a lot of circles, because I had always seen trailers and clips of him on the internet and, throughout different things that I was looking at, even commercials when I would look at videos for music, and of course the ever-growing meme factories out there. He's even the center of the badass meme, which I always thought was pretty cool. I mean, if you read the wiki about the man, he's a well-honored and widely renowned scientist that has won numerous scientific and humanitarian awards, and seems to be very sought after for his expertise in planetary science, even getting awards from Stephen Hawking and NASA. In fact, he's so well known that when I have conversations with folks about none other than climate change, those folks tell me that the scientists say this and the scientists say that, and that we should follow what they say to the letter as scientists. Now, my response is usually this: you sure are a trusting soul. You don't even know what most of these scientists' names are. They could be anyone. And that is when Tyson is named by these folks as the man, the scientist, in which they claim to trust as a scientist, no matter what he talks about. Sometimes Bill Nye, but we all know that he's a mechanical engineer. So I'm like, just one guy? And why do you trust him? Because he's on TV? Now, that's the right way to choose an expert. This man is literally a planetarium director. So now, I guess Tyson has accomplished everything there is to be accomplished about planetary science, and all the science that can be done to help humanity is all finished and completed now as well, because Tyson now seems to be focused and informing folks about the gender of fictional characters. Namely Santa's reindeer, including the famous Rudolph. Let's read his tweet for Christmas Eve. And I quote, "Santa doesn't know zoology. Both male and female reindeer grow antlers, but all male reindeer lose their antlers in the late fall, well before Christmas. So Santa's reindeer, which all sport antlers, are therefore all female, which means Rudolph has been misgendered." Pretty picture there. Nice card from 1919? If you notice, Rudolph wasn't even in the picture displayed. Now, I know that this guy is probably way smarter than me. In some aspects. Especially in his field. But I usually know when I'm being bamboozled. What a great word that is, huh? We need to use that one more. But again, don't get me distracted. I.e., I recognize BS when I hear it. Now, in my opinion, not that anyone ever does this, at least not until about 10 years ago or so, or until they hear some scientist that they trust, that they have been trained to trust, but still need to be reminded anyway. But as far as fictional characters go, anyone watching can assign whatever gender of what, the 12,000 of them now, that they want to these characters. It really doesn't matter, and the whole premise was a fairy tale to begin with, so why not? Not to mention, being a fictional fantasy, one in which we can gender anyone in any way that we want, we don't need some expert on the planets to give his official take on fictional character sexuality. Why is this even a thing? I mean, this is a child's fairy tale. Who really cares about the sex of fictitious reindeer who can, in fictionality, can talk and get married and play games and work and stuff? And then they have the ability to even do superhuman activities like fly around the world in one night, while a jolly fat man rides in a sleigh that they pull, flounces down our chimneys, even folks that don't have one, and leaves gifts while getting fatter on our offerings to him. I bet the mail carriers wish we treated him as well during this time of year. But again, don't get me distracted. I bet even this could happen.
Do you mind telling me what you do wanna be?
Well, sir, someday I'd like to be a lady.
A lady?
Well, we need one up here.
Needless to say, according to a couple of articles that I found on this particular subject, it's amazing that they can now write an entire article about one tweet. Anyway, most folks wondered why Tyson quit dealing with reality and our actual global problems to essentially ruin the fantasy for folks about 55-year-old fictional television characters. That essentially was supposed to be a lesson in humanity of not judging a book by its cover. The ending was happy for the entire world, and the show then made some aware of the unsung heroes that save the day after being shunned, or while we go about our days, not being any the wiser, claiming that everyone, even Santa, can use help every now and again. Also claiming Santa doesn't know zoology is true. It's a true statement. Because Santa is not a zoologist. Why would he be? In fact, did Santa even graduate high school? What college did Santa go to? I don't think he went to any of the colleges that Tyson went to. Otherwise, he would have totally been aware of his reindeer's genders, their sexual preferences, and maybe even their pronouns. So, how much zoology does the planetary scientist know anyway? That factoid can be looked up within seconds on Google. Obviously enough to correctly gender Santa's reindeer, which is just the information we really need right about now. Of course, knowing zoology wouldn't be too pertinent in Santa's line of work. I'm sure he had people for that, or elves, if you will. I'm sure Santa also didn't really care as long as the work got done. We can see that much in him allowing the other reindeer to bully Rudolph, that's if they even noticed, which Tyson spelled incorrectly in his tweet on top of everything else. So now what? Since the science is all final for everything else, what can we expect to hear from Tyson next? I'm waiting with bated breath. Is he going to tell us now that we have misgendered the Earth or volcanoes? How about the heroes or villains in the animated film of Heavy Metal? Was Tarna a trans woman?
Oh, no.
And how about her pterodactyl? Deerkin, perhaps? come on, man. My take? Just like usual, we haven't seen him in the mainstream lately, so he obviously wasn't getting enough attention from his audience and others. So he did and does just like all the other products of entertainment. I mean, politicians too. He spews something stupid or outrageous for his intelligence level anyway. And everyone on both sides of his argument, if you can call it that, are now making him viral, which is what seems to be everyone's goals these days. It doesn't matter what the subject is or how ridiculous it sounds, as long as it gets the clicks. I do hope that you enjoyed my video today. Please support my work by liking, commenting, subscribing, and of course sharing would be the most important to grow my channel big enough so that I can include what you heard too in my live call-in talk show. Of course, a donation would be the ultimate, and I come bearing gifts for donations while supplies last. That way you get more for your money than just my big mouth. All my links are below, and thanks in advance. Thank you for clicking on my little acre of the internet today. Until next time.